This week's budget isn't just another announcement, it's a moment that could make or break the government or even the UK economy. And it feels like every possible idea has been tested in the press. I honestly can't remember a budget with this much pressure building around it. And just to be clear, I'm looking at this as an economist, not through some political lens. My job here is simply to work out the winners, the losers, and whether this is good for the UK in the long run. It's not unreasonable to think two things could happen. One, the Prime Minister could be out of his job by the end of the month. Two, confidence in the UK financial markets could collapse. Neither of those outcomes is far-fetched. And remember, this is happening at a time when interest rates have already been edging up again and the pound has been drifting lower. The markets are nervous before the Chancellor even stands up. What seems beyond doubt is that this will be a giveaway budget. Billions more will be taken from the better off and handed to the less well off. There's talk of roughly 15 billion in extra welfare spending paid for by a mix of tax increases. Labor are leaning on where they are in the electoral cycle. If there was an election next week, none of this would be on the table. Early in the cycle is when governments can annoy their voters. They hope that everyone forgets later. But if the markets lose confidence, we've seen how quickly things can unravel. Look at Liz Truss. The market stopped believing her numbers, borrowing costs shot up, and she was gone. Starmer and Reeves face two separate risks. First, the left of their own party could decide this budget doesn't go far enough for the less well-off and try to replace them. Second, even if the plan doesn't require extra borrowing, markets could lose confidence if they think the UK is taxing itself to stand still with nothing to boost incentives or wealth creation. Because the truth is simple. It isn't sustainable to keep hiking taxes to pay for a fast-growing welfare bill. That's not ideology, it's just arithmetic. There aren't enough super-rich people in the UK to fund it all, and some of the ones who could pay are already leaving. So the extra money is coming from pensioners and ordinary workers. Freezing the tax bands is a perfect example. It isn't called a tax rise, but it has the same effect. Inflation pushes people into higher brackets and they pay more. Around about 10 million workers are affected. Nobody seriously believes all of them are too well off. And then you've got the talk of a mansion tax on homes worth more than 2 million. The estimates are about 300,000 or 400,000 homes. About half of those are owned by pensioners, people who are asset rich but cash poor. Some could face tens of thousands in tax. There's talk of delaying payment until the house is sold or until the owner dies, which just tells you how hard it would hit. And another question, will that mansion tax take into account any debt on a property? If someone has a 2 million home but only 200,000 equity, should they still be taxed on the full amount? If they are, that's deeply unfair. They'd be paying tax on a value they don't actually own. So we're walking into a fascinating week. This is a tightrope budget, and whatever the Chancellor does, someone's going to be unhappy. The political risks are obvious. The market risks are real, and the decisions now could shape the next few years for all of us. If you want more of my take on what's going on, don't forget to hit follow or subscribe up there.